So week 5 and a continuation of the intermittent fasting and macro tracking 101 recap. Macro tracking is for those of us who are a little more meticulous about our food. You may feel that you want to be in control of what you intake. You may also be interested in how your body will change and adapt through a calorie and macro tracking process. This is also another great way to learn about yourself and your body's potential. How does it work? Macro tracking is more definite in how it works, as it purely relies on the individual noting everything that they eat and logging their intake. This is a more performance-based plan that is stricter on the individual and requires them to be on point with their nutrition. The rules. If you haven't done already, you will need to revisit page 14 of week 1 and figure out what your BMR is. Once you have done that, you can then multiply that number, which is your baseline calories, with your daily activity, which is to multiply your BMR, which is your basal metabolic rate, by the amount of activity you do, so active calories, to find the number of calories you need to hit per day. You will then need to add these into either a manual or electronic food diary. We recommend MyFitnessPal, and stick within your calories each day. You will also need to stick within a percentage of macros to achieve great results, and we recommend having your carbohydrates between 40 and 45% per day. Protein is up to 35 to 40% per day, and fats is between 20 and 25% per day. So just as a side note here, guys, firstly, we're recommending percentages to you, and the way that you can actually figure out those percentages is to use an app such as MyFitnessPal, and you can set those percentages and the app will actually figure out how many grams per percentage that actually is of your daily intake, which is very helpful. The second thing is that this is just advisory from us. We don't advise you to necessarily eat more or less. However, we feel that this is quite a realistic goal to be setting for yourself. You may find as an individual that you consume more carbohydrates than you do any of the other 2 macronutrients, which are the proteins and the fats. And you might find it actually quite hard to consume the amount of protein that we're asking you to consume. Please don't worry about this. If you find it hard to consume the amount of protein that you are consuming, please remember that as long as you're taking on a little bit more protein from your daily intake, from your 3 meals and also your snack, that you're actually improving on what you have done previously. Next, you will need to drop 50 calories from the overall daily intake of calories every week for 6 weeks. So you slowly drop your weight in increments that don't send your body into thinking it's starving. Why 50 calories? Well, you may find 50 is too large or greater number. However, too little and you won't drop much weight or gain much muscle. Too great and your lean muscle tissue will drop off and your body will hold body fat. So guys, just as another brief side note there for you, that we are asking you to drop roughly 50 calories away from your overall expenditure every single week. So let's say that a typical person has 2,300 calories to consume per day for 1 week. The next week, we drop that person's calories away by 50. That's not a lot of calories to drop away from a person's diet, however, it is a restriction. And so over that 6 weeks period, they will drop 6 amounts of 50, which will equal to 300 calories, which will give them an overall of 2,000 calories, which would mean that over that 6 weeks period, they have dropped 300 calories, which means that we're not pulling 300 calories away from their diet immediately. However, we are gradually dropping those amount of calories away from their diet and overall intake.